A lot of people have been asking me, is ICP done for? They like to say, is it toasted? Basically, is it cooked? But I don't really share that same mindset. And the reason why is because recently there was a Dfinity Global Research and Development meeting, and they actually discussed several key aspects in regard to the internet computer and also Dfinity itself. So I don't think it's a sign of being done, in my opinion, at least. And I'll get into that in today's video, and I'll talk about the price later, even though nothing I say is financial advice, and even though I am not telling anyone to do anything. So again, ICP may be still below $3 as of right now, but keep in mind, in their latest edition of the Global Research and Development, they covered actually an update regarding Caffeine AI, which of course is a really amazing thing. If we take a look at Caffeine AI, we already know Caffeine AI version 3, that's really impressive, and Caffeine AI, it's a self-writing apps platform, and I think that right there could be so integral for the future of the internet computer, because traditionally, if we take a look at the concept of the internet computer, a lot of people would probably learn Motoko, right, which is a programming language that is, I guess, designed by Dfinity. Sometimes people learn that and they build on the internet computer. But it doesn't have to be stuck with that. Sometimes people, through canister development kits, those who know C++, Python, TypeScript, and whatnot, stuff like that, to actually build without having to learn Motoko. So traditionally, that's kind of been the way, but with Caffeine AI, I don't even have to know a programming language, right? I could just literally be like, oh, make me an app that does this or does that or whatever, or make me a video game, I don't know. And it can try to do that. And I can do that without having to learn all this, or should I say all of these programming languages. So that's a total game changer. But if we take a look at that right there, that could really, I think, help better adoption when it comes to the internet computer moving forward. And more developers entering, I think, is usually a good thing. So if Caffeine AI can attract more developers, that's a net positive, in my opinion, 2 thumbs up. So if they're talking about a discussion in regard to what's going on when it comes to Caffeine AI recently in their Dfinity Global Research and Development meeting, I think that's really impressive, actually, and it showcases that they care. And come on, right? There's already version 3, so I'm assuming that they care. But yeah, besides that point, we take a look at, they also discuss the developer experience update. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Again, they clearly care about developers, and this is key because if we take a look at, let's say, in the case of developers, what happens is that if more developers do enter and whatever they build gains adoption, whatever they build on, it kind of goes along with the ride. So if, let's say, a lot of developers start building on the internet computer and whatever they build gains traction, that kind of automatically brings the internet computer just along with it, I would say. So of course, that's a net positive as well. And something else that they discussed, I think, which is pretty interesting, is cloud engines, because through that, they are focused on the cloud market. And keep in mind, when it comes to the cloud market, it's currently valued at around $1 trillion, so that's really massive, in my opinion. Clearly a smart idea when it comes to Dfinity in terms of being focused on that. Now, we also take a look at internet identity. Now, that's pretty cool as well. You know, not too famous though, but I'm just saying. We also take a look at the Swiss subnet demonstration, which is pretty cool. And again, we heard talks about the Swiss subnet not too long ago, remember? Right after the World Computer Day event concluded, which was held in Switzerland, by the way. Again, that event right there, when it concluded, we heard about Swiss subnets, so that's really cool. And by the way, I've been to Switzerland twice so far. I'd love to go back. It's really amazing. But yeah, besides that point, when I take a look at what they've been doing so far, I can't really say I'm disappointed because, yeah, sure, it's just like, you know, a discussion basically, which went on for like over an hour. So people could say, oh, that's so boring and all this. And yeah, I agree, it is a little bit boring, but at the same time, at least they're focusing on the details, right? It's not like watching a movie, it's not like watching Coachella. It's not that. It's an hour of discussions regarding, I guess, Dfinity and the internet computer, which a lot of people like to say, again, it's so boring, but for those who are actually fans and want to know what's going on when it comes to the internet computer and Dfinity in general, I would say that it's actually a pretty useful discussion, right? It may be a little bit boring, but it's a little bit useful. So yeah, is ICP really done for? Is it really cooked? I just don't think so. That's personally for me. I mean, Dfinity, they're still doing their thing, and just to kind of showcase a sign of Dfinity still doing something, keep in mind, not too long ago, Dominic Williams, who is the founder of Dfinity, he was looking for a new engineer. And keep in mind, Like that's like not even a good time for projects as of right now anyways. Like what do I mean by that? Not too long ago when he was looking for an engineer, it's not like altcoins were popping or something. No, altcoins were doing really bad and they're still not doing that good even as of right now. Even though there's been a slight recovery, but still. And even though it may seem kind of trivial, like how come Dominic Williams looking for a new engineer or looking to add an engineer, whatever the case may be, why is that a good thing? Well, it's because I think if anything, it does indicate that they're in a position that is quite strong enough to actually look for another employee. That's the thing. If let's say, we take a look at other projects out there that are letting go of a lot of individuals, Dfinity seems to want to be adding. So that's pretty impressive. Again, right? It shows that they're actually speeding up in terms of what's going on internally, while other projects out there, they're trying to slow down. So I do like seeing that when it comes to Dfinity. And again, sometimes the price when it comes to ICP doesn't directly reflect Dfinity, because keep in mind, sure, in 2024, we were almost at $19. As of right now, we're still below $3. So clearly we're over 6 times lower than ICP's peak back in 2024. But we have to consider a lot of other projects out there, they don't really have a sustainable business model, in my opinion, in which case sometimes it doesn't really allow them to kind of survive through a market downturn. But I just haven't seen it here because clearly Dfinity is still hypothetically around. But besides that, ICP again, okay, sure, people like to say this is so bad. It's around $2.70. Agreed. I mean, it's not looking the best, but it depends on the frame of mind, right? If I take a look at a laptop, for instance, I can either view a discount as a bad thing or a good thing. It depends. Some people who are looking for a laptop, for them, a discount is a positive thing. For others, maybe it's a negative thing. So it really depends. But personally, for me, I don't mind discounts. I don't mind low prices. If ICP never returned back to its peak in 2024, it's like, okay, fine. Because did you know that actually back in November of last year, ICP was at around $9? And we got to ask ourselves this question sometimes. Is November of 2025 a good time for altcoins? Were altcoins popping at that time? Were they doing so fantastic? No, it wasn't, right? It was considered actually kind of bad, really bad, according to some people. And still, ICP at that moment in time was around $9. Like, wow. Like, so that means if ICP just went back to where it once was in November of 2025, we're over 3 times lower than that. That's kind of ridiculous, in my opinion. And I mean that in a good way because it's kind of like, how, right? How is ICP this low? But of course, there is a reason, but it's just a figure of speech. Now, of course, the main reasons being a lot of people don't believe in it, the market wasn't doing the best, and a lot of people exited. But keep in mind as well, when a lot of people were exiting their Apple stocks, what was Berkshire Hathaway doing? They were acquiring Apple stocks. When some people were leaving Coca-Cola, Warren Buffett, he was entering. So it depends on the mindset, right? It depends on the frame of mind. Low prices could be viewed as either a negative or a positive thing. But if I see ICP over 3 times lower than where it once was in November of 2025, yeah, I have zero complaints in terms of hypothetically dollar cost averaging right now, because if it goes back to that, I'm already going to Sizzler, the restaurant, or Red Lobster, or maybe Olive Garden or something like that, right? I mean, you name it. Chili's, there's a lot of possibilities, but it's just a figure of speech. Had ICP held up a lot better, let's say ICP was holding up at around, I don't know, let's say $7 or whatever, then if it goes back to $9, that's so boring. At that point, I'd rather just care about Bitcoin, in my opinion. But I'm not telling anyone to do anything, but I'm just saying, had ICP just held up at around those levels and it went back to around $9, again, it's so boring, right? But because it's over 3 times lower than where it once was in November of 2025, and Bitcoin is not over 3 times lower than where it was back in November 2025, if they both could just return back to November of last year, I don't know if I would choose Bitcoin. That's the thing. Just because it isn't over 3 times lower than where it was last year, especially back in November. But this is just my current perspective. So yeah, I'm still dollar cost averaging once a month. I'm not telling anyone to do anything, but I'm all about preparing, because by me just holding and waiting, if the market randomly were to suddenly take off, I'm just kind of waiting right there. So it's kind of like going along with the ride. So I don't have to try to guess. All I have to do is just prepare and anticipate. That's it. I mean, There's really nothing beyond that. I mean, I don't have to do that though, but I'm voluntarily choosing to do that because by me holding and just, dollar cost averaging incrementally over an extended period of time, what happens is that it kind of evens itself out, right? Sometimes I acquire a little bit up here, a little bit down here, sometimes somewhere in the middle. It kind of evens it out along the way. And by me just holding, if suddenly something were to happen to the market, it's just kind of like automatically going along with the ride. I don't have to try to find the perfect moment. All I have to do is just prepare for a moment. That's it. I could be sleeping, I could be doing whatever. If the market were to take off, it's just kind of like going along with the ride because I was holding it the entire time anyways. But again, I am not telling anyone to do anything, but that's just what I'm doing as of right now. However, I'll be sure to make more updates moving forward when it comes to ICP, so hopefully y'all stay tuned for that. It's Mali the Captain. I'm out. Peace. Bye.